you tell them already?
What, miss this? No way.
Yes, I hear them. Dean loves you. He understands and forgives you. But Hank, no, Hank is quite upset. Rage. I can hear his rage. He calls you a crumb bum. Or maybe a crampon. It's hard to hear him.
Isn't a crampon a little hook for mountain climbing?
He's definitely calling me a crumb bum.
Hello Internet, my name is Billy, and this is Season 2 of Your Guide to the Ventureverse, a YouTube series in which I look at each episode of the Venture Brothers and give a brief synopsis, point out interesting facts, talk about its place in the greater canon of the show, and finish it off with some personal thoughts about the episode. In today's video, we will discuss Season 2, Episode 1 of the Venture Brothers, Powerless in the Face of Death. This episode first aired on June 25th, 2006. Let's get into it. Dr. Orpheus seeks out a way to resurrect the recently deceased Venture Brothers while Dr. Venture and Brock seem to be going about business as usual, except that Dr. Venture has an accident with a teleporter that splits his body into 3 pieces. Meanwhile, the Monarch plots his escape from prison, and we catch up with Henchmen 21 and 24 at a support group for henchmen without a leader. The episode starts out with a montage set to Everybody's Free by Rosella, one of very few times the show featured licensed music, but it almost didn't happen. Doc Hammer says in the art book, that montage was a nightmare. It was cut to that Rosella song and it was ironclad, but when we delivered it to the network they said, we can't afford this. So in one night I wrote and recorded a new song, which is actually not a bad song, but it wasn't the Rosella song. When the network saw it without Everybody's Free, they agreed it was integral and paid for the song. In the following clip,
look, Tweaky, I have some bitty big government contracts I gotta get cracking on. I'm bitty back in action, and there are bitty bills to pay. Dr.
Venture refers to his brother as Tweaky. He's referring to the short in stature robot from Buck Rogers, who, like Dr. Venture,
what a bummer,
says bitty quite a lot. Dr. Orpheus having the image of Hank and Dean on his hands is a reference to Something Wicked This Way Comes. Also, for the record, because I've seen this mistake a lot, toe-headed is spelled T-O-W, and it actually means blonde. He is not likening Hank's head to the toe of a foot. This is the first time we meet Swifty and Hector. The implication is that Swifty and Hector were the Race, Bannon, and Haji of the old Rusty Venture show, filling the roles of the muscle and a minority friend for Rusty. This is also the first time we see Tiny Eagle, or at least the Tiny Eagle-themed airplane he cruises around in. In this scene, we meet 21 and 24 for the first time out of costume. We learn that 21's real name is Gary, but we never find out 24's. Gary/21 also mentions for the first time his idea to become the Viceroy, an actual species of butterfly that looks incredibly similar to the Monarch. In addition, we also get the visual payoff in the form of 21's ponytail to a throwaway line from Return to Spider Skull Island.
Oh, my hair's in my goggles again. I can't see squat.
I'm so sick of you complaining. That's it. Next time we see you, you're getting a trim.
I'm growing a ponytail.
If you'd asked me if we'd ever see Tiny Joseph from the Christmas special ever again back when it first aired, I definitely would have said no. And yet here he is helping out the Monarch in jail. Man, oh man, this is how you do a season premiere. First of all, it's pretty much universally agreed upon that the opening to the season is like top 10 coolest Venture Brothers moments. There's something so legitimizing about using licensed music. It really feels like a line in the sand. That side of the line, season 1. That's the warm-up. That's the practice. This side of the line, season 2 and beyond. This is the real thing. This is the Venture Brothers. And with that feeling of legitimacy, we jump right into the opening credits, which have been redone to feature the new, eponymous Venture Brothers. And you think to yourself, holy crap, the Venture Brothers were never Hank and Dean. They were Dr. Venture and Jonas Jr. And then, if you're still not getting it, one of the first lines is Jonas Jr. saying,
"But we're the Venture Brothers. Shouldn't we work together?"
Of course, it turns out that Hank and Dean are still the Venture Brothers, but they keep the ruse up for the perfect amount of time to really get you thinking that maybe they're never coming back, while not letting you get too used to the idea that they're gone for good. Along with all the bamboozling, this episode also manages to pack in so much awesome stuff. You've got a classic compound hang with a slight twist that Dr. Venture is stuck in the wall. You've got a science versus magic debate with Orpheus and Doc. You've got the further fleshing out and humanization of 21 and 24. You've got the old Rusty Venture Show clip. You've got the awesome death montage. And you've got this Brock moment.
That information is supplemented with basic knowledge that my...
Someone on the internet once pointed out that you never see a character in a TV show or movie cough unless they're sick. But in real life, people randomly cough all the time. Brock yawning here is kind of like that. The subtext of the yawn is that this is all very mundane for Brock. But when's the last time you saw a cartoon character, or any character really, just naturally yawn? Not to show that they're super sleepy or super bored, just a middle of the afternoon yawn. It's such a perfect little detail that wasn't necessary, but adds so much realism to the moment. I love yawning Brock, and I love the Venture Brothers. As always, thank you for watching, and go Team Venture! Tune in next week for Hate Floats. If you dug this video, share it with a friend. And if there was some huge thing that I missed in this video, follow me on Instagram at Ventureverse Guide to see these videos early and offer your input before I upload the final product.